It's day 135, and the verse that stuck with me today is once again in Psalm 119. I'm kind of living in this psalm, but it's so much knowledge in here. Verse 71. It was good for me to be afflicted, so that I might learn your decrees. Now, why this stuck to me is just, I said, even with my testimony and with many people's testimonies, we had to learn before we knew the love and who God is. But that also meant we went through a lot of stuff because we were too dumb to see that we shouldn't go through that stuff. But the Lord helped us through those situations so that we could come back home, so we can know who He is. And for some of us, it wasn't even coming back home. Like, I grew up in the church. Some people didn't even grow up in the church. Every story is special in its own way. But at the end of the day, at the core of the majority of the stories, other than the people that were believed through their whole life, is that they had reached this place where they knew they needed something more. They knew they needed something that could not come from this earth. And they got to that point. But for many of us, for me, it took a relationship and just being broken down to a point where I knew I was a shell of myself. And the only thing that could build that shell back up and build it better than it was before was God. Because I reached that point where I had been given into all the things that I had tried and all the things that I wanted to do, all the things that I wanted to buy, and none of it meant anything. And I was allowed to have all these things, and they mean nothing to me. They did nothing for me, and they still do nothing for me now. But the difference is that God has pulled me out of that pain and that sorrow, and He's ready to do that with anybody who's ready to go. It's just a matter of you acknowledging who He is and what He is and what you're called to do when you know and who He is. I mean, that's the end of the day. That's what it is. That's what it is. But that's all I've got today. Thank you for listening, and be blessed.